than the people who everyone has tried to break, who've remained.
Got one student I had. It's here's where others don't see it. And I wouldn't see it, but I am fucked up and fucked over. But didn't know her well. On the surface, the ideal beauty. Blonde hair, blue eyed. Beautiful. And semi demure not pretty demure. But I get on the elevator and I glance at her face. No, I'm angry. I see it. And I can't kill what's fucked her over, but what you know what I can do? I can give her pause. I start clowning like mad on the elevator. And there's some other students that are like, well, who's the fucking this weird guy? One eye even gets off. Clown. I finally get her to laugh. And only half her face laughs. And I see that and she says, you see that? I said, what? He beat me every day. No matter what I did. If I cried, he beat me. If I laughed, he beat me. So I didn't cry, I didn't laugh. Thank you. Half her face was smiling. By all rights, most people, yeah, that smile's gone forever. That one. Half a smile. What did it cost me? A lot. I had to shred inside. I had to feel that. Behaviorally, socially, I'm a fool. Who gives a shit? Pressed to joke in an elevator, but I found some humor. I think I did my therapy with an elevator thing. She was a psych student. I'd seen that. I have smile. And hating myself that I saw that. And then we get down to it. I had no choice. I had to clown. I was better equipped to go fuck somebody up. I mean, and have fun with it. But that's not what was needed, of course. It was needed a long time ago.
Well, but this is the role, the fool, right? So everyone always acts like the fool is one of the things I've loved the most. So the greatest fool I think we have in our current world is Jim Carrey. He's just, and I love that he's come out lately and talked about how hard it was to be the fool. The fool knows how to conjure emotions and feelings and thoughts in the entire court.
Yeah.
It takes a great deal of empathy and wisdom and all kinds of things to do that job. It's not an easy job. When we make fun of them, we're like, "Oh, you're just a fool," and
the fool.
But to play the fool,
the fool gets to tell the truth.
Is and I'm going to write this down too. Ethan Hawke has a really cool little TED talk about creativity and the importance of being able to play the fool, not being so caught up in what we're doing and what people want us to do and all of the things that we can't just play the fool and see the beauty of it. So yeah, I think
it's the one thing I found in life that's really worth being serious about.
Yeah.
And I mean that. We should take that playing the fool very, very seriously. That's important. Back to me being trapped into teaching psychology of humans. The whole story, teaching that story of students, trapping me into that. I think the students were right. I was the one that was supposed to teach that.
Mm-hmm.
First, because I'm a dumbass and I needed to learn some stuff. Patrick Cubier set this course up initially. I think he knew Dave needed to learn some stuff
Well,
about the power of humor. And
but that's exactly what Andy was saying. The medicine man, the power of the Rin,
yeah,
which you're avoiding. Having someone bring it to you and say, "I want you to teach this. I want you to help build this course and teach it because it's a thing." That's allowing that Ren to come out, look above, laugh at it all because it's all bullshit, dance around a bit,
and
fly away.
I got to admit with Cubier that my greatest fear in teaching the course wasn't that I didn't know. I wasn't an expert in it. I said, I've never been an expert in shit, and that never stopped me. So I told him, well, he was right. I said, it wasn't that. I said, humor is so important to me for surviving all this shit. And I said, I was afraid if I began to analyze it,
It wouldn't be funny.
it wouldn't be fun anymore. And I said, I found out.
Now you just know new ways to be
that
funny.
didn't work. I said, even a fart joke, I giggle. And then I'm like, why was that funny? Oh, this person says this. This person says this. This person says this. And, the meta humor, me actually getting to finally meet Victor Raskin, chair of linguistics, an expert on humor, the Russian, and ending up accidentally playing the fool in front of a bunch of faculty members who I'm sure hate me to this day. That's where Victor was presenting in the Nye Center. And he was funny as fuck, but it was all dry humor. One of my favorites, he says, I have been in America so long, I am like American doing bad a Russian accent. And I'm like laughing like that. Everybody else was like, oh, he's the great Dr. Raskin. Like, and I'm laughing like that. Dry humor. I was told by one of his students that one of her favorite things that he said, not during that, but about another graduate student, that she looked like a cross between a Russian whore and a pencil. So it was just kind of man, right? Anyway,
It's a weird combo.
Oh, Raskin. This is before I even taught the humor course, right? That when he ends his thing, we're all supposed to eat. All the professors go up there, except me. I'm with David Haynes. I don't know if you ever knew. Very brilliant man. And he was laughing his ass off, which for David Haynes was his slight smile throughout the thing. And Raskin is like, I'm at one end for free food, right? Buffet. And Raskin's the other end, all these faculty. Oh, Dr. Raskin, I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to him. I'm over here. Once again, got shit in my mouth. And the famous kid, it's like, why? He goes, you laughed at my jokes. And then I started laughing like mad. I did. Of course, the faculty members, Gabe is not behaving. And then, fuck them.
And they're jealous of you because you're having the
I'm having a ball. And the guy is an expert in linguistics and humor. Fuck. And he's funny, and you guys didn't get it, sorry. And besides, so he comes to me and we talk, and that's what I found out that he goes, who are you? I tell him, where'd you get your degree? And I'm like, out of Oklahoma, but I'm not psychology. And he goes, Oklahoma composition rhetoric? I go, yeah. He goes, you have a degree from Purdue. I'm like, how? He goes, I am the one that, when they set up the program that they consulted, and I designed it like us. So he goes, you are Purduean. That's why I had to read all the linguistics. Yes, all right. Now let's go eat some stuff and tell some jokes. But, Freud said it. I think it's in jokes in relation to the unconscious. It's the most powerful defense mechanism we got. The only one where we don't lie is humor. He said all the others are a lie. Even sublimation, which we make such a big deal out of it. Oh, I got a hard on. We'll go play sports. Well, fuck you. I'm going to make a joke about having
real hard after that.
Playing with a hard on. All right.
You don't want to post up against that person. I'll tell you that. It makes it weird.
It's when you are grasping for that meaning. Back to our topic, and it's a desperate grasp. The meaning that's being handed to you is ugly.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking ugly. And you can deny it, project it, and do all this other shit. Or you can sit there and laugh, immolate, and make a fucking joke out of it. I will say this rather obliquely. I am one of the few, I think, who's actually looked at the abyss. And what I saw wasn't evil. I saw indifference. Such an indifference that I'd go to the gun safe, pull that gun out, just to stop what I saw and have seen. What I saw in this universe, the horror is indifference. However, as I told myself, it may be indifferent, but clearly I'm not. Clearly you're not. There is a power differential.
Mm-hmm.
Us versus the fucking universe. And what's the opposite of love? Indifference.
But hold on. Us versus the universe. What greater meaning is there? Did Trump not jump and capitalize on this? It's us versus everything, and all the band of non-readers joined in, and oh, we'll just get together and not read together. That kind of thing, right?
Bring in this. Do what Reagan said would happen if the aliens landed. We'd all come together. What Trump did was say, "Look at all them fucking aliens." We even using that word, alien, illegal alien. We start with them, and then we start alienating. Oh well, you were born here, but you're brown. Well,
you like them?
Yeah. Oh, you committed what I call a crime. Not that I have any room to talk, but you committed a crime. Well, you just lost your citizenship. You want citizenship? Well, we're going to do the Running Man, and you're going to have to, go through.
That's what amazed me is when you go back and look at the debate between Bush 1 and Reagan, and listen to what they both said about our Mexican brothers and sisters who want to come here, and how we need to maybe open the borders more and do all.
Yes.
You could not say that in that party right now if you tried, but that's and Reagan is their greatest. How did we in 30, 40 years get to this? Because it's insanity. But it's exactly right. We started labeling somebody as the terror, and then this is the safety. And so you can come together and think non-critically about everything and just beat your chest emotionally and have your day, which mind-numbing to me. But I'm going to ask you, I have a question on the humor. So here's my thing. I can make jokes about anything, as we know. Anybody who studies psychology and works with other people can. Don't you think there's a negative to that? So running the joke can also make you callous, yeah?
Well,
so you distance yourself and you don't feel.
You want me to report from my extensive reading of the psychology of humor stuff, which I fucking did, God damn it, because I didn't want to be a total idiot. One of the dangers of having the sense of humor and using this is you don't even take your own health serious. Yeah. So that when you begin to experience honest physical symptoms, you are less likely to go to the doctor.
Well, even about other people, do you become desensitized? Because
I think part of this gets down to, what kind of humor are we talking about? Good humor or bad humor?
Yeah.
There is humor that's dangerous. Freud talked about this. The denigrating humor. That's a dangerous defense mechanism. That is not the kind of humor that was healthy. that's facing the world's issues, not adding to them.
but sometimes this is kind of necessary to survive the moment. And I'll give you an example. And this is one of the times where I started checking myself. I was working with a family years ago when I did that kind of work, and I was working with a young male in the family. He has 2 older sisters, right? The oldest sister was also mom's sister. So mom's biological dad raped her, impregnated her, and the sister was born. Or the daughter, sister was born. That individual's oldest child was also her and her mom's sister. So biological dad raped mom and then raped the individual that rape made. So to say there's trauma in the house is putting it extraordinarily mild, right? And it was heavy and hard going into their house like all the time. It was rough. And so I remember one time I went in and 14-year-old female, around 14, impregnated by a 30-year-old in the neighborhood. And I said, okay, you need to call the police. That's statutory rape. You know, we've got to do things, blah, blah, blah. Mom didn't want to do that. She hesitant. Said, well, they're not going to do anything. They don't care. And I was like, let's let them prove that right. Okay, let's do our job. I don't want to, I don't want to have to call DHS and do some things, whatever. So she makes a call. In between that session and the next, police come out and they're like, well, she's almost 15. She's almost old enough to make her own decisions. So not going to do anything. Poor family. Why would we care? So I go, you did the right thing. Made a call. That's awesome. Proud of you for that. Now you need to call their supervisor because they didn't do their job. And we need to hold the cop accountable. And she's like, why? I did it. I'm not doing this. I'm not going to do this all and spend all my time doing this stuff. And it was defeating and tragic. I remember when I left their house, I was just leveled. It's just so much in there, right?
Yeah.
And I get to the end of their street, and I just kind of like shrugged my shoulders and went, well, at least it wasn't bio, Dad. That's progress. And that is some of the most sinister joke, but it's all I had. It's the only thing I could do from just driving into a wall or taking a baseball bat to somebody or doing something.
You were given there's some stories that just can't be narrated, not within a human meaning. And see, here's I'm just saying this. I think it's a flaw in me, and I've seen it in others, and it relates to this. I become matter of fact about horror, and what you're describing is horror.
Mm.
But when you've seen it again and again, to remain horrified by it, you just can't make it.
No, you can't.
And so, I'm like, were I your therapist and you told me this, I'd say, first, I'm going to forgive you for making the joke because my fucking God, you're describing a horror. And I'm thinking of a bunch of goddamn horrific jokes that outrage people that are worse than what you said, but they're getting at the same, like I'll give you one. My friend buying a fucking Volkswagen. And I'm sitting in there, and my friends tended to be racist, not good German boy, right? I said, I'm looking for your ashtray. Because why are you looking for the ashtray? I said, because it's German. Got to have some place where they're going to let the Jews ride. Now, he laughed uproariously. Ah! Is that an anti-Semitic joke in the right context? That very much is. It's not how it was meant. I was bringing about real fucking horror. And even the history of that Volkswagen, going back to the Volkswagen that Hitler won. And we're not innocent in this in the United States. We got Ford Motor involved in all this stuff. But my joke was talking about something very, very serious. And it was poking at my friend a little bit, as I love to do. Because we have to, and I was the one that read all this shit. I mean, it was like this mistreatment of people because of their skin color. Fucking wrong. It's bullshit. It's constructed, Well,
the funny to me now is we're saying it's anti-Semitic to say Israel and the Zionists need to stop murdering Palestinians. That's not anti-Semitic.
No.
I didn't say, kill all Jewish people because what they're doing. I'm saying that subset of people in Israel, typically the Zionists, are deeply problematic and murderous. There's a murderous nature in that. Obviously, the evidence is clear, and that's not saying pro any other group other than these innocent people who are being slaughtered without question or hesitation, which is horrible. Like that's not anti-Semitic. To call someone out on their bullshit and to say that's disgusting is the only decent thing to do.
And
It's amazing to me.
I'm willing to talk to people that say, and to venture a claim that to condemn that behavior is actually to stick within the spirit of Judaic theology. As I'm understanding a strand, Tikkun Olam, heal, repair the world, is going in there and massacring these people, healing and repairing the world. I don't think so.
Well, and what's funny is if you see
is what the Palestinians do. Was that? No, that's terrible. No, it's wrong. And sometimes we need the violence to stop the violence. But I love what Jimmy Carter said. He goes, war is always evil. Sometimes you have to do it, but it's always evil. Same thing that I was told by the medicine people. To kill is taboo. But sometimes it needs to be done. So what do? You prepare for it and have a damn good reason, and then you realize anybody that does that, and they're only allowed to do it for a good reason, is polluted for a while. We bring them back. I know the system. We should be using it here. Makes sense. If we're going to send people in to do this, and sometimes they need to do it, there are bad actors out there. I believe that. And I believe that anybody that goes and kills them is polluted by that action.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that being said, thanks that some people are going out there and doing that.
Let's come
but
back
I think
and teach you how to heal.
Yeah.
Let's get you better, which is what we don't do, especially with our military folk. We don't take care of them very well when they come home. We don't heal them very well. Not only that, we give them a nuclear arsenal to manage, and then when they come home, you say your job skill is working at Wendy's.
Yeah.
You can't really have a career or any kind. And they're not supposed to be upset by that. They're supposed to just take it in stride. Well, no. That's the kind of things, like you're creating, you're maybe creating a situation, but if not, playing into a situation where they have to go do something that fractures their humanity, and then you just want to plug them back into society. As a police officer, which is problematic in my book, because that's not the type of policing we're supposed to do.
Two very different things. The only thing they share is a gun.
Right.
That's two very different things.
And so, like, I see a lot of issues there. I'm not saying that someone who served can't be a police officer, but that's a lot of retraining, and that's a lot of healing that needs to happen first. Then, maybe. But we put people in situations that are bigger than their humanity ever could be, and it fractures it, and then we just say you're fine. This is why suicide rates among service people are higher than the norm, or the non-service people, by great numbers. Right. Because we say we support our troops with some little sticker or little ribbon that we hang in a tree or on Memorial Day or something like that. But do we?
Yeah.
Let's just be sincere about that.
Let's stop thanking them for their service and let's start giving them a free house when they come back. If I were in that,
house, education, healthcare,
versus a house, give me my fucking house.
Or
thank me for my service versus healthcare for me and my children.
Stop sending them to be bullies across the globe, to be hated everywhere.
Yeah.
Stop telling them to do these things, because that's not what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
It goes against many of the creeds that they take and many of the oaths that they take. And so then they have to do some mental gymnastics in order to not feel like a monster. I remember my grandpa, the guy right down in the picture down there, he didn't like to talk. He was in World War II. He didn't like to talk about it much. Um, but as he was older, I was interviewing for a high school project, or maybe it was high school. I think it was high school. And we were talking about the war, and he was telling me some of his stories and things. And talking about meaning, this is what we leave with our service people. Kind of interesting that we ended up here on Memorial Day in this space, but I guess it was in our subconscious a little bit.
Oh yeah.
He looked at me and he said, "Stephen, how could I ever get into heaven with what I've done?" And I was like, "Pop, I mean," he goes, "No, how?" That was a hell of a lot to dump on stupid little high school kid who wasn't thinking we were going to get to that. I thought we were going to hear cool war stories, right? Um, and some of the things he shared with me were brutal, that were commonly done.
Yeah.
He said they would bomb a beach, and him and several of his fellow service people would go up to he was in Japan and Guam and in that area, and pull the gold teeth out of their heads because they thought they were worth money. Thought it was gold. He said he came back with sacks of gold teeth that weren't worth anything because it wasn't real gold. And to think of that, to have all of those thoughts in your head as you're coming, and no real good mental health care for them when they come home, no real advocacy for them. I don't think that's supporting our troops.
I went through the same thing with my father at the end, after Mom died, and then turns out I'm real easy to talk to, as he said. He had stories to tell he'd never told, so he told them to me. In many ways, he was asking the same thing. At one point, he just left in Europe. I don't know, 20 guys left out of his company. Had a brutal fucking meaningless ship. And he's 18, 19 years old, and he just walks off for a month, just in war-torn Europe. And he had a shame about this. He tells me that. I'm like, why did you ever go back? Because what? I said, Dad, after what you've described, fucking meaninglessness you described. I said, it makes sense that you would just walk away. I said, what I'm trying to understand is, why'd you go back? He goes, because I had nowhere else to go. Mm-hmm. Understandable. But I said, but you went too? No, that was wrong. And you could see the relief. 10 years old. And I said, the danger with me in that was not that I'd run away, but that I'd become a willing savage. And he said, yes, he worried about me. Why he didn't want me in the military? He said I was gung-ho and I was a leader. So people like me didn't make it. If I know you. He said, all those guys died. And the word that he used back was meaningless. The star football player who dropped out of college to join the military was in his company, who he finds splattered. Not after a brave attack, splattered. John. Just the meaning was the waste. And what struck me, he said he learned that people were just like things, GI, government issue, but it was things that were more important than people.
We're trading souls for money, real time. Especially now, I would say World War II was the last that I can think of meaningful battle.
My dad ended up in World War II and all that.
Not that it all was, but like
he ended up questioning that. I found that interesting. My mom turned totally hippie on me. That was her Catholic thing. All wars are evil.
yes.
And none of them should happen. We should just not go to war. My mom ends up like that. It takes her till like age 55. But it was dad calling me up and mom there one time to talk about some of this stuff. This is when he asked me with the first Gulf War if I'd smuggle people out of the country because it was a wrong war. And I needed to do the hippie thing. And I was brave enough. And he had a little bit of money. But my God, we're going to get those boys, he called them. Boys! We're going to get those boys out of here, up to Canada, or wherever you find game. I know you'll do it. Who stole my father and replaced him with a fucking compassionate man? Somebody. And what an honor. Mom and Dad decided to call me up and tell me they want me to break the law. They say, fuck it to God and country. Got something more important. I got young people to protect. And I told my dad, I'm talking to every soldier. I got soldiers in Navajo. I said, I can't talk a single person out of it. They all told me the same thing. They knew the war is ridiculous, stupid, evil, because that's what white people do. That's not why they fight wars. They fight wars because they're honorable and they're warriors. When they're called up by the chief to fight the war, they fight the fucking war. I remember everyone was talking. They're all going to go fight. Yeah, okay, we know what you're talking about. Yeah. Of course, it's an immoral war. White people started. Okay. That's not why we fight. I love that. We're United States citizens, but we're tribal members too. And when we're called by the chief, fight. Part of the tribe, part of this country, we fight. And now the chief better get their shit together. But until then, this is our role. My heart broke. Right? They had a point. And my dad had told me it was the Native Americans that did the dirty work. They're moving too fast. You can't keep prisoners. Oh, the Native Americans, we'll take care of them. Behind the hill, bam, bam. Yeah. My dad had the ambivalent experience of saving a German from 2 other soldiers. He ends up holding a gun on American soldiers. Don't kill him. We need to kill him. And to get made a compromise. They leave the guy with a bucket of water and a loaf of bread in his lap, his hands tied to a chair. And my dad's like, was that moral? Well, fuck yeah. Good for you, Dad. Good for you. Hopefully it's good bread. You're absolved. You know, several times in my life, I'm like, should have been a goddamn priest. I need to be right now, in this moment. Because he needs absolution, and he's earned it. Did it for a student. You see how freaked out a bunch of students. I don't know if you were with that group to watch me occupy subject position Catholic priest with a student of ours. When a teacher died that she loved, it was Catholic. And she was afraid to go take communion. She was in fucking sin. Nope, not on my watch. I am suddenly Father Gabe. And I was. Woman, you loved her. Yes, that trumps all. Out of my mouth. Bible quote, Bible quote. Oh, I didn't even know it. So you, child of God, you go up there, you take communion with the rest of us. You are honoring a woman you love. Dr. Gunn. That was so funny. Students, they weren't supposed to see that. And Miss One, what'd you just do? Well, I'm sitting in the back pew. No, we just watch. What she want? Talk to her. Yeah. You were Catholic. For a second. But you had nothing to do with me. But you believe to do with her. It's not complicated. Trust me, it wasn't easy. The moments like that, I want a capuchin robe. Jesus Christ, I can play the heart a lot better with the capuchin. It's just like I could do logic better if I wear the black of the Jesuit. Jesus, fuck.
Gotta look good to play good. I mean, you can do it. Yeah. Oh, meaning.
Dead fathers.
Yeah.
Oh. Seeking absolution. Well, they say the sins of the fathers are laid upon the sons. Well, then fuck you. Then that means that the sons are the ones that have the responsibility and the right to absolve said sins.
Or can we provide the right kind of meaning so that their angst absolves itself?
That'd be nice. I'd be happy with that.
I think that's what meaning does, right? The goal of it eradicates guilt. Because now, okay, yes, I killed that person because it was right to do. That person was going to do blah, 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 and I prevented that and whatever. We've got to be careful with that moral understanding, as I think it was Sandel who did the runaway trolley experiment, which I know you know well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write that down so I can put it in notes. Damn it!
I'm glad you're keeping track.
So for those of you that don't know the runaway trolley, essentially it's this. I'll probably not have it exactly accurate, and I apologize. I don't apologize. Essentially, if you're on a runaway trolley car and the brake doesn't work, you can't do anything. Ahead of you, there are 3 people working on the tracks who you are going to murder. You can't scream at them. They've got headphones on or whatever. All you can do is take your shoe off and throw it at the lever on the side that if you hit it, it'll switch tracks and take you to a different track where there's only one worker. And the question is, the setup is, like, you would definitely hit the lever if you throw your shoe, blah, blah, blah. So how many people would throw the shoe? And most people would say, well, I would do that because it's save 2 lives or 3 lives, sacrifice 1 person. It's always better. That's a decent trade-off. 3 for 1. Okay. So then the next condition is, okay, let's say you're not in the trolley anymore. And you're walking on a bridge over it, and there's someone who's so obese, and they're leaning over the edge, you barely nudge them, and they'll fall on the tracks. The trolley will hit them, derail, and you'll save the 3 people. Do you nudge the person? And all of a sudden, you see less people saying yes. Right? Because that seems more intentional in the murder side of it. And that person's not in any kind of harm's way. A lot of people will say, well, they were just standing over the bridge, and they weren't. Well, but the other person on the other track wasn't doing anything. It wasn't in harm's way either. And you opted to kill them for the saving of 3. But then to be more absurd, take it one step further. You're a doctor. You've got 3 people who need different organs, all have the same blood type. In walks somebody with a cold, simple cold, has the same blood type as these 3 people. Should you kill them, harvest the organ, and put it into 3 people who need it? Because saving 3 lives is better than saving 1. Or only having 1. If we keep working with that mathematical truth, then morally, yes, killing the 1 person, saving the 3, better solution. But we start to see the differences become, in the first sense, we feel that we are responsible because we are in the trolley. The minute we separate our position to the bridge, I don't feel this is my issue as much. When we're not even watching a horrific scene, I'm even further removed from having to act drastically. So the situation is what builds our morality. It's very fluid depending on whatever it is. So you can have these discussions. So then that takes me to like quantum psychology, which instead of acting like anything's happening to you, what if you were saying instead it's happening with you? Now I don't feel the need to do anything, and I can make a clear decision on what to do. So this allows me to activate meaning more than following orders or following scripts or things like that. So it allows you to have a little bit more power, a little bit more say. The way I take it, at least. But it is tough, and essentially, what a lot of service people are probably doing today, who've served in horrible situations, is to try to find meaning in some of the things that they've done. And I hope more than anything that they find that. And that it feels right to them, because their rates of suicide are pretty horrible, and I don't want anybody to feel that way. More to the general point, for me, I hope everybody can find meaning, and that doesn't mean we all have to be doctors and lawyers and everything else. Uh, Working at a diner, serving food to people, is feeding a community. There's meaning in that. Putting a smile on your face changes a day. When I worked at a bookstore, having a conversation with somebody who wasn't going to have one that day maybe changed their day. So, and it also changed my day. Like, it made my day better also. So we can be caught up in the scripts that are being written around us, or we can make a reality. And that's for us every day to decide. And I think a lot of that is the beginnings of making meaning for me. What do you have to say? I'll let you end it. We're probably going to talk about meaning again because I can't escape it. But
It's meaningful. Right?
it is. It's meaningful. Meaning is meaningful. That should be the title.
I'm supposed to end this meaning, and you were talking about food, of course. And so, of course, I got caught on food and something else meaningful. I'm waiting for somebody that doesn't know me to meet me and ask me, recognize the ancientness, right? And the fact that I have to be retired, because, who would hire me? And I could say, well, yeah, I'm a retired fry cook, because I did that for my young self quite a few years. And the pleasure I took in making a meal, to make it look good, and to see pleasure in people's faces. Teaching, I never knew if I did any good. Counseling, none of that. You really know. But food, you damn well know.
It was funny. You say fry cook. When I was growing up and I was younger, I honestly thought the phrase fry cook meant all you did was make fries. that's honest to God. I always thought, like, oh, you just make French fries? Really? Like, that's your thing?
Well, and I use that in particular. I don't not like cook, but I was just a cook in a pretty fancy restaurant. But then I finally worked with chefs, people gone through culinary training, and I realized I was pretty low ranked. I was what they ranked as a fry cook if we were in a major restaurant,
right?
And would be like under the sous chef or something. But I'd be doing a lot of frying of fries and making of steaks and things like that.
Yeah.
But like the fancy ass sauces,
or
like yelling at the staff in Italian until I want to die because the lettuce is wilted. No, that's for a chef. I'm a fry cook.
Now, if you have an issue with the fish and chips, I made all of that.
Yeah, that. Or you're going to go after my steak. Remember, I'm holding a spatula and I can spit on your food.
Yeah. Find meaning in your spit stick.
That's the last meaning I leave you with is, a meaningful reason to be nice to restaurant staff. They do make your food. You should be nice. But remember, they can spit on it and put dead rats and cockroaches. Get quite creative. They're humans.
Did you hear about the people who were doing this? There was a restaurant of McDonald's or something like that. I can't remember where. but they were taking the rat poison out of rat traps and putting it in people's food.
Really?
Yeah, they all got arrested. Somebody went to the hospital. All like, I don't know if they died, but they were really sick. And I was like, man, that is some unhappy workers.
Yeah, it's too many double shifts. That's the way I see that.
Just,
You know, time for
you think about like, you know what I'm going to do
you
here?
know, when you're poisoning the people. Remember, we want customers to come back.
Right. To spit in their food again because they're awful.
Just trying to build up their tolerance to rat poison. And this is an extra that they're going to announce down the road. Guess what? You can eat rat poison because you've come to McDonald's.
You've been to McDonald's enough. What kills rats will not kill you. That's fantastic. That's not an attack in saying that all McDonald's serve rat food. I'm just saying to that McDonald's. I don't want McDonald's coming after me. They have deep pockets.
No, they do.
I don't need that heat. They're franchise, so fuck that franchise. There it is.
They have a clown as their major dude. I mean, clowns are evil, right?
This is where humor can get you in trouble. You start riffing on it, and you're like, "Oh,
that's it.
We go too far."
Like my comment about if you're scared of, I've said this to people, and I meant it. I thought it was funny. You know, if you're scared of clowns, it's quite easy. Just shoot every fucking clown you see. And then people are like, "You're saying I should go out and shoot clowns?" I'm like, oh, God, no, just shoot me.
No, put me out of this misery.
Yeah.
Could you do that?
And that actually got me. The clown thing got me in trouble. Convenience store. In the city, I go in. I used to stop there, you know, every day on the way to work, and there's a sign, "No clowns allowed." I'm like, what the fuck? So I have to ask.
Do you have a lot?
They go, well, we don't allow clowns in here. And I'm like, I saw the sign. Is that a joke? No. Sir, they're like deadly clowns. So if I come in and clowns, we will not let you. And that's what I say. Well, if you see a fucking clown, just shoot him. God damn it. We can't shoot clowns. Okay. And then I'm now a clown killer because I mentioned.
With a water pistol? Could you do it then?
Jesus Christ. You know, I live in a world where there's signs that say clowns can't enter. Like, Jesus. And I
want to remain hopeful that it doesn't have to be this way, but I'm losing. I still remain imprisoned in hope, but I am not optimistic.
Nice way to put it.
I'm not optimistic. Cornell West, always.
I think things are going to get much worse. I just can't figure out exactly how. That's where I'm at.
If you want something purely funny, Solutions and Other Problems by Ali Brosh is absolutely hilarious. You would laugh so much about the little things. The illustrations are great. Okay, so we're glad to be back. If you don't want us to have the risk of talking about meaning again, I don't know, throw a suggestion out. We never know, but meaning is one of those ones that hovers a lot. So it may come up again and again and again. But until next week, thank you for being here with us again. I'll always enjoy hanging out with him. So
we're in a good space. We can't help it thinking here.
It is a very weird, good space.
This is about the best space in the world, surrounded by books and toys. I've missed out. I noticed the toys. The toys are just as important.
Here's a toy that you have.
Oh, I know. That's cool. I like anything Ghostbustery.
Original. Still makes noises.
Makes a damn noise. Drives parents crazy. Now, second generation driving parents crazy. I love toys.
I think the toys help me. So this is an important thing for me in meaning. A lot of these toys, and pretty much every toy in here, represents something about me, my childhood, whatever coming up. And it's not to say that I'm stuck in those places, because I've brought my past into my present in the hopes that it builds the future. So all the books are more what I am recently. And so the goal is for all of these forces to work in building what I do going forward. We'll hope. So far, so good.
Something very serious. So
my little creative space.
I know. Well, I'm rubbing the beard, being serious, and look over here, and I see a book named Butts.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right. And that's
And
probably
then look,
important.
this one is the other side of that.
That's nice. Where's your penis book? Of course, every book is a penis book, but
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I have a book on penises.
You
Probably need
don't?
to get
Oh,
that.
God,
I'm
you
sure
did-
it exists.
You did get it. You need to. Maybe that'll be the next.
Well, I have Dawkins. That's pretty close.
Dawkins is a dick. That'll work. Yeah,
That's real close. Real close. But thank you. Next week, we hope to do it all again. And take care. Last words for you.
Well, I hope to adjust my medication between now and next week, so that may change the topic.
As always. Thank you.